The Recitation in Summary. The Recitation in Summary. First edition. Note: this book summarizes and only contains the direct English recitation verses. The exact verbatim text of the chapter is not included. The intention of this book is to provide a quick and easy English summarization of the Holy Book, the Recitation, and does not focus on human interpretations, inferences, later stories, and hearsay of the life and actions of the prophet or other earlier texts. This work seeks to delineate between explicitly forbidden things versus those recommended to avoid, using the direct text of the recitation without human interpretation. I hope you enjoy this book and find it useful. Peace be upon you. The opening. In the name of God, the entirely merciful, the especially merciful. All praise belongs to God, sustainer of all worlds, master of the day of judgment. You alone we worship, and from you alone we seek help. Guide us to the straight path. This chapter serves as the foundational essence of the entire recitation. It establishes the themes of divine sovereignty and the human plea for direction. It defines the relationship between the Creator and the created as one of total dependence and a sincere quest for an upright ethical life. Chapters 2 through 5, including the cow, the family of Imran, the women, and the table spread, form the legal and ethical foundation of the community. These texts detail the cosmic origin of humanity through the narrative of Adam and the establishing of social justice. They introduce comprehensive laws on inheritance, the protection of orphans, and the sanctity of life, equating the saving of one soul to the saving of all. God is presented as the absolute sustainer, whose authority is defined by justice and knowledge. Chapters 6 through 10, from the livestock to Jonah, emphasize pure monotheism and the observation of the natural world as evidence of the Creator. Nature, the orbits of the celestial bodies, the descent of rain, and the growth of flora is presented as a collection of signs for the intellect. These chapters document a recurring historical cycle, the arrival of a messenger, the community's response of pride or humility, and the subsequent consequence. The narratives of Noah and Hud illustrate that material superiority cannot shield a society from the consequences of arrogance. Chapters 11 through 20, including Joseph, the thunder, and the night journey, explore the refinement of the human soul through tests of hardship and prosperity. The narrative of Joseph provides a study of integrity amidst betrayal, while the journey of Moses in the cave illustrates the limitations of human perception versus divine wisdom. Ethical laws are expanded here to include the prohibition of fraud, the mandate to honor parents, and the inherent dignity of the human being. The text compares the temporary nature of worldly life to vegetation that flourishes briefly before turning to dust. Chapters 21 through 30, from the prophets to the Romans, reiterate the unity of the divine message across history. The pilgrimage and the light focus on the internal illumination of the heart and the outward expression of worship. The text describes the physical world as a mirror of divine attributes, using the metaphor of a lamp in a glass niche to describe guidance. Societal laws emphasize the necessity of verifying information to avoid the destruction of reputations and the importance of consultation in governance. Chapters 31 through 50, such as Luqman and the private chambers, focus on the intersection of wisdom and social conduct. They provide a blueprint for communal ethics, the prohibition of mockery and suspicion. The forgiver highlights the availability of repentance. These chapters argue that the most honored individuals are those with the highest integrity. The cosmic reflections shift toward the reality of the end of the current order, describing the folding of the heavens as a process as natural as the reviving of dead land after a storm. Chapters 51 through 70, from the scattering winds to the ascending ways, explore the metaphysical boundaries of existence. The merciful catalogues the blessings of the earth, from the two seas that meet without mixing to the fruits provided for sustenance. The text challenges humanity to recognize the balance inherent in creation and warns against disrupting that equilibrium. Laws regarding family life are refined to ensure justice. Every human action is described as being recorded, highlighting the theme of absolute accountability. Chapters 71 through 90 address the internal struggle of the human soul and the pursuit of purification. The text describes the human conscience as a witness against itself. Success is defined as the uphill road, the liberation of the oppressed, and the feeding of the hungry. These chapters use powerful imagery of cosmic events to emphasize that worldly status is fleeting. They call for a return to the peaceful soul that finds its fulfillment in the recognition of its Creator. The final chapters, 91 through 114, provide a distilled essence of the message. They focus on the brevity of time and the necessity of sincere devotion. The earthquake describes the earth revealing its secrets, while sincere devotion defines the absolute uniqueness of God. The recitation concludes with prayers for protection against external harms and internal doubts. These final verses serve as a shield, encouraging the reader to seek refuge in the Sustainer from the distractions that mislead the heart from the path of integrity. Appendix A, the Prophetic Legacy. The recitation details the lives of 25 messengers as a single mission. The narrative spans from Adam's repentance to the perseverance of Noah and the devotion of Abraham. Moses represents the struggle against tyranny and the establishment of law. David and Solomon demonstrate that worldly power and scientific wisdom are divine trusts intended for justice. The mission of Muhammad concludes the prophetic era, emphasizing that truth requires unyielding integrity and the consistent application of mercy. Appendix B, the Boundaries. The recitation provides a framework for what is unlawful, maintaining that the default state is permissibility. Dietary laws are limited to prohibitions on carrion, blood, and swine, with a mercy clause for necessity. Economic and social prohibitions include the outlawing of usury and the consumption of an orphan's wealth. A key distinction is made between acts that are forbidden and those to be avoided, such as intoxicants. The text asserts that divine law is concise, intended to move humanity from darkness into a life of clarity.